Start and got in the lead as early as possible, and then just try to hold it with Merv close up behind me.
And is your sights firmly set on the championship now?
Yeah. No, looks like I've got quite a few points. So yeah, let's see what the rest of the championship does.
Oh man, is your brother not jealous of you winning all the time?
I'm sure he's a little bit. Yeah.
Spot on. Listen, well done. It's been a cracking weekend. Awesome. Back to you, Andy, in the comms box.
Thank you very much, Paul O'Neill. Stellar work, as always, down there in the pit lane and up here in the comms box with me. Civic Cup action is done, racing action is done, in fact, today here at Brands Hatch, but there's still plenty more track action to come.
Thanks, Eddie. Well, everybody, this is the last event of the day. This is our time attack final. Round 3 at Brands Hatch Indy. This is the session where our drivers are going to be looking to go as fast as they possibly can. This is where the big points are at stake. Half points in qualifying, but the final is where it all counts. This is where they're all going to be putting everything on the line. We've seen some incredible action so far in all of our classes. We are running a new format for today and yesterday, rounds 2 and 3 of Time Attack. As you know, if you've been following with us this weekend, you will know that our club, clubman, and pocket rocket classes are now combined into a single club session, and our Club Pro, GT3 classes are combined into our Pro session. So now we have 2 sessions only, Club and Pro. The scene now set. This is where the drivers are going to be looking to really put the hammer down. You know, they were tentative all day. The weather was a little bit soggy. It was mildly moist, as Jeremy Clarkson might put it. And, you know, the morning sessions weren't scoring any points. Qualifying awarded only half points. And now is the session where we will see the big points. Of course, we do have a very hell-packed field here. Nearly 30 cars. One of the most busy time attack sessions that we've had on one of the shortest tracks on the calendar, Brands Hatch Indy, which means that not only are our drivers looking to set as quick a lap as they possibly can, they also must do so on one of the busiest events of the calendar. You can see that Neil Greenland then sending it around the outside down the Cooper Straight into Surtees, just trying to maximize his track space. Neil Greenland having been incredibly quick, not only today and yesterday, but for his entire time attack career. Getting out of breath in anticipation of what Sam Pickering then in the club 4-wheel drive class, having made the jump from Run Woody Brung into the Time Attack Championship, and he was quick straight off the mark with Sam Pickering in his club 4-wheel drive DIY carbon fiber clad Time Attack machine, currently sitting top of the timing screens just ahead of Neil Greenland in the Mitsubishi Colt, and just behind them then is Sean Amara in the DC2 Honda Integra, who was just displaced by the other Honda Integra as Arturas Luxurious falls off the track. Where was that? That looks like that was just coming up the hill into McLaren, perhaps on the exit of Surtees. We can just see Arturas Luxurious then falling off the track, but managing to rejoin without any drama. Arturas Luxurious, one of our other drivers in a DIY carbon fiber clad Subaru Impreza. There he is on your screens now. That black roof isn't just black, it's actually got a really cool supersized Louis Vuitton pattern-esque carbon fiber weave on his roof. Very cool indeed. Natalie Brooks there in the F80 BMW chassis, the BMW M3, running 600 horsepower in low boost, 740 horsepower in high boost. Perhaps with the weather now having cleared up, the track being dry, she will be turning that up to 11 to throw down some quick laps. I think I hear Susie in the pit lane. What have you got for us, Susie?
Yeah, I'm down here with Mick, and we're driving the only Skyline on the circuit today. How's it going?
We're having our little problems, but we're staying on the black stuff. So, yeah, it's as good as we can make it.
So you've had some problems. You're missing a few gears today, I believe.
Yeah, we lost 5th in the 6th gear.
So just the 4 gears?
Yeah, just 4 gears. Luckily, we're being the short circuit. I can just about manage.
So yeah, so hopefully not too much of a problem for your last final round then.
I don't know really. It's like have to see. Like I say, it's different circuits. have different needs, and we might have to miss 1 or 2 rounds.
Is it only down the back straight that you're needing the 5th gear then?
Yeah, that we can do with 5th really, down part way down this straight here, most of the time 4th, and we're managing.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky to kind of deal with that, but yeah, good luck for the final round then.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thanks, Susie. Thanks, Mick. Mick Porter there with the old, you know, the vintage now shape R32 Skyline GTR, having lost 5th and 6th gear. 6th gear being of not huge relevance here at Brands Hatch, but perhaps the lack of that being an issue at later rounds. So he's saying, look, we might need to actually sit out a little bit of time attack while we resolve that, because tracks like Alton, tracks like Donington are just not going to be a great time without 5th and 6th gear. Let's have a look then. The cameras are panning with the Seat Leon and the Subaru Impreza of Arturus Uxorius, and also of the King lifting Seat Leon. Here we go, the camera panning out. Big, oh, that's a big one. Red flag out in that case. Big incident there from the Ford Fusion of the Team Confusion entry. So just bear with us while we check that everything is in order. So just bear with us there for a few moments, please. Red flag as our drivers head back into the pit lane while the incident is attended to. This may need just a few moments to resolve. So, yeah, just bear with us. Let's perhaps take a look at our running order so far then. Samuel Pickering remains at the top of the time screens. Ross Walker just behind him then. That Club 2-wheel drive battle just beginning to develop as we headed into the final 10 minutes of the session. And hopefully we'll be able to see that pick up shortly without too much of a delay. So, I'll be back with you in just a few moments. Just bear with us, please. Just for now, those who are watching, this is a pretty significant incident. So a lot of the track barriers they look like they'll require a repair. So this could be a lengthy delay, so please do bear with us. I will of course give you any updates as they become available. But for now, the main priority is just making sure everything is good over here. The marshals are just getting all of that work underway, and as soon as there are any updates, I will let you know straight away. right, ladies and gents, it's a pretty significant incident, as perhaps you've been able to gather so far. Red flags are out for this particular entry. This is the Ford Fusion, the Team Confusion car. That's just at turn 1. The medical team are on site. You can see there's, or perhaps not, but there is a digger out now. We've got some big machinery there trying to fix the damage to the circuit. So it looks like perhaps things are looking okay. Just so like they had a breath. Sorry, getting to race control and back and such. Medical team is on site right now. The driver is now being taken to the medical center as a precaution to do the checks and such. And I will let you know more as the situation develops. For now, red flag out for a pretty significant incident there on turn 1. Driver now being taken to the medical center, and I will have more for you as the information becomes available. So just bear with us, please. This is a pretty significant one. So we are going to expect some pretty big delays here, but hopefully everything should be good. So I will keep you posted. Thank you very much for your patience with this.
Yeah, he's just come to the medical centre, they've wheeled him out, but it'll be a bit of a racing job, won't it? They've got to collar him and everything to make sure that he's alright. Yeah, you could see when the paramedic was actually talking to him when he wheeled him in, but he had a collar on and he was strapped to the board. Brands Hatch curfew is 6:30. I don't think you can start a race later than 6 or a quarter past for the curfew.
All right, just a quick update for you then. The driver is currently in the medical center being assessed. You can see the Team Confusion car. Actually, you can't see, sorry about that if you're watching on the live stream. We don't currently have a camera there, but the car has been recovered off the track now. It looks like this session has been red flagged. The timer is now put down to 0. The completion thingy is at 100%, so this session has probably been called. I can see the cars have now returned to their pit garages. The good news is that the pro cars are lined up now, ready to go out, so presumably the track at least is safe, the car is recovered, and the driver is in the medical center, so hopefully then all good signs so far. That means that our club cars have now finished their running for today, so that'll be that, with especially some having completed 7 laps. So really we were through a significant chunk of the final for our club classes, being clubman plo. Oh my god, so it's kind of flustered me a little bit, all this stuff. So clubman plus, club 2-wheel drive, club 4-wheel drive, and pocket rocket. That session has now been called. The marshals are now just cleaning up the track. You can see them furiously sweeping away the team confusion car has now been recovered off the track. Hopefully we will have an update for you on the driver soon. And our pro cars look like they will be getting out on track shortly. As always, more updates for you once they are available, so I will be bringing those to you as soon as I know. In the meantime, please do bear with us. Thank you for your patience during this red flag period. This is, of course, the most significant incident that we've had all weekend, so it does require quite a bit of work just to resolve that. So please just bear with us a little while longer. So the track now looking reasonably clear while we await updates from the medical center and also while we await the pro session to get underway. It's looking like that is still going ahead for now. So hopefully that'll be able to kick off shortly. And in the meantime, let's take a look at some of our lap times so far then. As the red and then checkered flag was called on this session, Sam Pickering was still the fastest with a 52.7. So really these drivers perhaps still having a little bit of pace in them. Of course, do remember we lost a lot of time out of that session. So Sam Pickering then the fastest with a 52.7. Ross Walker in the BMW M4, fastest in Club 2-wheel drive with a 52.9. Then we had Jonathan Ellsworth in the Caterham Supersport, third fastest overall, second in class with a 53.1. Neil Greenland in the legendary and very angry Mitsubishi Colt, the number 118 car, fourth fastest overall, third in class with a 53.5. Then we had James Dover with a 53.6, David Dyson with a 54.4. Andrew Kime in the Pocket Rocket Citroen Saxo, first in class, seventh overall with a 54.4. David Lawrence, sixth in class, eighth overall with a 54.8. Then we had Sean Amara with a 55.03, good enough for ninth overall and seventh in class. Let's have a look at our other lap times then. Where is my timing screen? I've just lost that. Next up then in club, so the 10th fastest overall, second fastest in club four-wheel drive is Dean Taylor in the RG Motorsport Mitsubishi Evolution 7. Then just behind him, Kevin Thieker, 11th overall and 8th fastest in class in the 888 Vauxhall Astra GSI with a 55.1. Then second fastest in Pocket Rocket was Michael Birch in the Tegawa Racing Honda Civic, number 300. Then after that we had Arturo Suxurias in the Subaru Impreza, and the timing screens have been cleared, telling me that we have a new session about to get underway. And I can hear then the pit lane sirens. There we go. The green flag is out, so the circuit is now again live. You can see on your screens then the cars are heading out onto the track. The Pace Ward Nismo GT3 filling your screen. Darren Spooner at the front of that queue, looking to make the most of the track space that he will have in front of him, unimpeded by other cars around. Cool down lights flashing on all of these machines just to indicate that they are on an outlap. If you're wondering what those lights mean, they are not rain lights. In Time Attack, they actually indicate whether a car is on a hot or slow lap. It's worth bearing in mind that many cars, even top-tier competition cars, many of them aren't able to do lap after lap after lap after lap, or flat-out driving. Things just get a little bit too strained, a little bit too hot, and so it's good practice, at least in Time Attack, to have cool-down laps in between your hot laps. So to signify to drivers around them that they are in a cooling-down lap, the drivers will put on those flashing lamps on the back of their car, so that if a car in a hot lap is closing in on them, they just know what the situation is. It's much like indicators will signal your intent, your cool down lights also signal your intent, and it is that you're driving very conservatively just to bring your car back into its optimum condition. On the flip side, your lights being switched on, your headlights being switched on, tell others around you, they tell the marshals that you are on a hot lap, and so those on a slow lap are blue flagged out of your way, and that's how things are kept running smoothly. Or at least that's the plan. Of course, handling the traffic, handling the driver etiquette around you is a key part of the Time Attack challenge. And so our drivers then completing their outlaps, beginning their timed laps. And you can see the headlights already on for a few of these drivers. You can see then Darren Spooner with his headlights ablaze, indicating to everybody around him that he is about to begin a flyer. Darren Spooner then we've seen very, very fast in Club Pro two-wheel drive. And just in the queue to get onto the track, he had that clean air, he had that empty track in front of him, so he is able to punch in a very speedy time of 53.8. Behind him then the two Reeds, Phil Reed and Steve Reed in their, I was going to say Mitsubishi Evos. Of course, that's not the case this year. Phil Reed has changed to the Nismo GT3. So our drivers then, as they are getting things up to temperature, you can see their headlights are now coming on. They are beginning to put in a few laps now. Andrew Barber then displacing Darren Spooner from the first place, and he goes, oh, never mind that. We have a new fastest overall machine in the form of Paul Doyle. The BC Racing Super Impreza goes fastest of all. Purple in sectors 1 and 2 with a lap time of 52.7. He leads Pro Extreme. He leads the overall timing screen, and you can see a bit of smoke there, lock up from what looked like Roman Grant with Susie about his timing teething problems that he is having with his car. It is an all new spec for this year as he made the jump into the pro categories, and of course naturally with any big spec change there are teething issues to be expected by the looks of it. Now on your screens you have the Colin Dorward in the Mitsubishi Evo, who's been very quick all day. Let's see whether he manages to put together a quick lap. There he is just behind the BTCC car of Luke Senjakovsky. Let's see how he goes. Oh, Colin Dorward has gone off. That's a big one. We can see a tire rolling. I think that tire is from the tire wall. So a big incident there from Colin Dorward, by the looks of things, he was very, very quick all day. Looks to have gone a little bit squirrely on the exit of Druid and has shot back across the track into the tire wall. You can see a couple of tires there scattered around, absorbing that energy from the impact really well. Red flag has been called again. It's a pretty big incident, of course, having a car stuck in the middle of the track like that. So pretty disrupted and eventful final, both in the club and pro sessions. Red flag there being waved. Colin Dorward then, very, very quick, incredibly quick all day. The fastest road car based machine, faster than anything other than Phil Reed's GT3 car, at least for most of the day. Red flag is out, then you can see the cars, Darren Spooner, there's Phil Reed in the background of the Nismo GT3, just filing back to the pit lane. You can see then Colin out of the car, he's looking pretty fine. There you go, the car, of course, that is in a bit of a state. Hopefully all reparable. Let's see, these chassis are pretty strong. There you go, the medical car is there. It's good to see Colin there walking around, yes, looking glum, but at least he's, yep, there he is. So the marshal then approaching. So interesting to see how this is gonna affect the session. So let's see there. So the marshals there just conferring with Colin Dorward there, inspecting the car, considering how to recover it. I can see the recovery truck has been deployed, the ambulance is there, and the medical car. All the recovery vehicles are sprung into action. You can see the shot on the live stream there. The car is then filing back into the pit lane, expecting to head back out on track by the looks of things. They are queuing up, and they are not reversing into their garages yet. The session hasn't been called. Of course, it has only just got underway. We've only seen a handful of timed laps put in. One in the case of some drivers. So it'll be, yep, we'll need to wait and see how this develops. I can see another truck making its way out onto the track. Another flatbed recovery machine. I'm not entirely sure why we need two of them. But let's see, perhaps there's probably some heavy lifting to do in terms of the track barrier, because of course having a car thrown into it is it's a pretty big impact. So perhaps you can see there's another flatbed there full of various tools and bits and bobs, presumably to get the tire wall back. You can see the work being done there on your screen. So the marshal's just looking at the car, assessing the damage, trying to understand how they can get it onto the truck, how they can get it safely loaded with minimal damage. Of course, in an impact like that, your traditional towing points might no longer be accessible. There could be bodywork obscuring them, or in fact, your towing eye itself could be bent, and you can't really, use that. That could be compromised itself. So a situation like this does present a challenge where you really need to weigh out how best to get this car loaded. You can see the flatbed then, the low loader has just extended his bed there. Perhaps they're thinking they can winch or roll that car, the car of Colin Dorward, back onto the bed. You can see there in the pit lane, the team then conferring with Darren Spooner in the Spooks Motorsport machine. Just perhaps considering their options, looking at where they stand in the competitive order, sharing their feedback on the drive so far. And of course, Darren Spooner looking still suited up, helmeted up, strapped in. He is ready to go back out on track as soon as this accident is cleared. Hopefully that's soon. I can see another van heading out, presumably with more parts, with more spares, with more tools. Because of course, while that wall is damaged, that wall has done its job. It has absorbed that impact, and they're disposable. You use each wall once, it absorbs that one impact, and before that wall can be deployed again, that crash barrier can be deployed again, it needs to be put back in its original condition, because of course once it's used once it's used that energy, once it's absorbed that impact once, it cannot do so again. So of course you don't want another car, although very unlikely, running into that same bit of wall again that has already absorbed one impact because it will not be as strong the second time. So getting this crash barrier back into a usable state is a key part of this recovery process, and you can see the evolution there. Just ever so slowly being loaded onto that truck while the tire wall is reconstructed. Two key jobs that must be done before the session can get underway again. And of course, this car is likely to not roll perfectly straight back. So it's possible that manpower alone will not be able to push that up. It may need to be winched. The chassis could be a little bit bent. Perhaps the wheels, the steered wheels could be pointing inwards, or perhaps the rear wheels could be pointing in a strange direction. It means it doesn't roll easily. It won't just freewheel by being pushed by hand. So it may need a bit of winching there. You can see that's, I believe, Paul Doyle's machine, the sunlight there obscuring the race number, but I think that's Paul Doyle's Impreza P1. Rare machine indeed. This year running in the Pro Extreme class. That is not Paul Doyle, I do apologize. That is Paul Wright, getting my Subaru Pauls mixed up. This is Paul Wright in the BC Racing Pro 4-wheel drive class with this Subaru Impreza P1. Very rare machine indeed, and in that special shade of blue that I think maybe only P1's got. It's ever so subtly different to WRC Mica Blue and some of the other metallics that Subaru employ on their cars. Could be wrong. If I am, then if there are any Subaru anoraks out there, please do leave me a comment on the Facebook stream correcting me whether I'm right or wrong. I was of the impression that the P1 came in a unique color, but I could also be throwing you a red herring just to engage in some conversation and trying to bait you out to correct me. Who knows? Maybe it's a deliberate mistake. Who knows? In the pit lane, I can see Ben Robinson's Noble being pushed. Three team members just manhandling that wing, rolling it down the pit lane, and looking like quite a busy operation out on track on the exit of Druids. So here you can see Andrew Barber's car on your screen with a big fan in front of it. And of course, for those of you who perhaps are new to Time Attack, wondering why that is, these cars do run very hot, and they are designed to have lots of airflow. And once they're stationary, they're not designed for that, so they need to keep that airflow going. They use a fan for that. Andrew Barber then, of course, needing to be cooled off quite significantly, having set the fastest time so far. Andrew Barber leads this session with a lap time of 49.65. And then having to come suddenly to a stop. These cars aren't designed for that. They're engineered to have masses of airflow coming over them once they are up to temperature. This is the operating window in which they work. And so, of course, when they need to stop suddenly and completely whilst still hot, they need to keep that airflow running over them. They can see the car of Colin Dorward then, the Marshall's making some great progress loading that onto the flatbed. You can see just how much of an operation this is. All these vehicles that are out there on track, all the Marshalls, you can see the bulldozer digger thing and needing to do some of the heavy lifting in terms of putting the barrier back the way it should be. The crash barrier that absorbs that impact so well from the Mitsubishi Evolution. And yep, just a bit of an involved operation there as the Marshals and the circuit team try to get everything good and clear. Perhaps we will see this session resume. Quite a few cars you can see if you're watching on the live stream dotting up and down the pit lane with what looks like Phil Reed's GT3 machine at the front of the queue. Andrew Barber first place. No, hang on, that's not him. That's another Mitsubishi Evolution. I can't quite place that one. Too small. And then Andrew Barber a little bit further back behind Paul Wright's Impreza P1. So that recovery now, you can see the car being, oh, you can't see it. If you're watching from the track side, you can see the car being moved. Colin Dord's car on the back of that flatbed, having been very, very quick all day, and it looks like the session has been... Oh, okay, hang on, we don't know this yet, Okay, but we can see, if you're watching on the live stream, you can see some of the cars being pushed back into the garages. It doesn't look impossible that the session will be called, which would be pretty unusual for Time Attack. I wonder whether it's even unprecedented to have both the club and the pro sessions curtailed by red flags. But of course, we do also have a curfew to be mindful of. That's part of our license. We can't just run forever. Late into the night. There are only special events, special occasions where that can happen. So the curfew perhaps then playing on race control's minds, as we can see the cars being pushed back into their garages, all bar a couple. And I think the only reason why they're still out in the pit lane is because they can't find the room to be pushed back into the pit lane. So let me just get an update on that, whether the session has been called or not, and I will feed that back to you straight away. Just bear with me, please, and thank you again for your patience.
Fire extinguishers being put away.
All right then, so those of you watching from the trackside and on the live stream, the session has been called. It looks like the damage to the wall there, to the crash barrier, is too extensive to be able to be repaired before the curfew. I did mention the curfew, and that may be a consideration here with race control, and indeed it is. We can't repair that crash barrier to a decent standard and get any kind of running in before the curfew is up. So what that means is that is the end of today's running in our club and pro sessions. Pretty unusual to have both of them ended by red flags. We will be providing you an update on the driver involved in the incident during the club session as that becomes available. For now, we still await information, and it also looks like the pro session has now been called as well. So perhaps not the ending that we wanted to either of the session, not even perhaps definitely not the ending that we wanted to either of our finals. Of course, this is when the drivers were looking to really put the hammer down, but unfortunately this is motorsport, and so our final in the pro class has been called. So we will be providing you updates on the points, the scoring, the results, and on the driver involved in the previous session's incident as that becomes available. But for now, I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for coming to Tunerfest South. Thank you for watching the Time Attack live stream. I've been Alexi Wood. Thank you very much for joining us, and for now, it's good night.